It's been a long, hot summer in the north, and along with the heat, some extreme weather. Storms in the Atlantic and Pacific, flooding and forest fires. In Russia, Muscovites wrestled with days of record-breaking heat, while firemen fought devastating wildfires. Massive flooding in Pakistan affected nearly 20 million people and submerged 1/5 of the country.
We're having our hottest year on record in 150 years. We know that there is a long-term warming trend that's been going on for the past century. The largest warming has occurred in the last half century.
Jay Gullidge is a senior scientist at the Pew Center on Global Climate Change in Washington. Gullidge says no one weather event can be specifically linked to climate change, but he says the trend indicates a relationship between weather and warming.
If we put more heat in there, we will get more extreme weather. That means droughts, floods, hurricanes, etc. If we put less in, the problem will not be as bad. It's pretty simple.
James Carton at the University of Maryland agrees, noting that the latest studies indicate as global warming progresses, the world will likely see the most extreme hurricanes, category 3, 4, and 5, to become more frequent.
And the science behind that is quite simple. Hurricanes draw their energy from evaporation of surface temperatures from the ocean. And as the ocean warms up, and the ocean's been warming up, you can expect more evaporation, therefore more intense hurricanes.
But Patrick Michaels of the Cato Institute warns against focusing on any one data set.
I'm looking at the accumulated cyclone energy index through August of 2010, and it's at its absolute lowest value since it started to be taken in 1979, despite the fact that the planet is a few tenths of a degree warmer at its surface than it was. So how strong is this relationship?
More heat in the atmosphere is blamed on carbon emissions, the kind that results from burning coal, running automobiles, and even switching on light bulbs. Pretty much any activity that takes some kind of energy. The more greenhouse gases the world produces, the warmer it gets. But Patrick Michaels says fears surrounding the results of climate change are overblown.
If you take a look at the actual rates of warming that are being observed and compare them to the median values produced, say, by the United Nations computer models, you'll find that the observed rate of warming is at or near the low end of the ranges that are being predicted. That should be pretty reassuring. It should tell you that it's not the end of the world, that you have decades to figure what you're going to do about this, if anything, because technology is going to change over 100 years. I assure you that the way we get our electricity 100 years from now is not going to be the way we get it now.
At the University of Maryland, Professor James Carton says it's not just the climate at risk because of too much carbon dioxide.
As you increase the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, you increase the acidity of the ocean. And that's also becoming a serious problem because as the oceans become more acidic, they affect the growth of the shells of many of our plankton.
Carton says the best solution to a warming world would be to attack the problem directly. The Pew Center's Jay Gullidge agrees.
And at some point, we're going to reach a level of impacts from climate change that will force behavioral change.
The heat may have already forced behavioral change for some. Taking a dip in a public fountain now seems like a good idea. I'm VOA's Rebecca Ward for Going Green.